Fatal hit and run in Danforth. Plus, authorities discover a body believed to be involved in a boating incident nearly 2 months ago. And local communities honor our nation's fallen veterans this Memorial Day. The 10 p.m. news on Fox 22 starts right now.
Now, your primetime local news leader. Fox 22 News at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Peter Dubois. First tonight, Maine State Police are searching for the driver of a vehicle following a hit-and-run crash in Danforth on Sunday. Police responded to the crash on Springfield Road in Danforth around 2:25 p.m. Officials say the driver of a 2003 Ford Explorer was heading south on Springfield Road and crossed the center lane, striking two motorcycles. A 50-year-old Don Charette of Frenchville and 30-year-old Jesse Willett of St. Agatha were both not wearing helmets at the time and taken to a local hospital. Charette later died and Willett suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Officials say the Ford Explorer is registered to 35-year-old Ryan Moore of Danforth. The driver fled the scene of the crash and has not yet been located. If anyone had witnessed the crash or has any information on Moore's whereabouts, they're asked to call the state police. That number is 973-3700. A body has been recovered from the Penobscot River in Orrington. According to a release by the Maine Department of Marine Resources, the body was recovered just before 1 p.m. on Sunday by Marine Patrol officers and Penobscot County Sheriff's deputies. The body has been tentatively identified by a recovered driver's license as 28-year-old Levi Kelly of Bucksport. Officials say the body was spotted in the water near the Orrington public boat launch by a recreational boater. Kelly had been missing since April 3rd when the body of his wife, 28-year-old Lauren Wattis Kelly of Bucksport, was found on the shore of the Penobscot River about a quarter mile down from the Orrington boat launch. The couple's canoe was found on shore in Bucksport the following day. Officials say there was no sign of life jacket use by either victim. The body will be transported to the medical examiner's office in Augusta for confirmation of identity. A Poland man drowned in Turner on Sunday. According to Mark Lottie with the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, 36-year-old Adrian Moraes attempted to swim to a float about 50 feet from shore in Martin Stream, but began to struggle and went underwater. Witnesses on shore saw him go under and tried to help, but they were unsuccessful. Divers from the Maine Warden Service and Maine State Police located the victim in about 7 feet of water and removed him from the scene. More information will be released when it becomes available. State police are trying to piece together the evidence after a shooting left one person dead and another hurt in central Maine. Investigators rushed to the scene on Main Street, also known as Route 32, this morning in Vassalboro for gunfire inside an apartment building. Brad Rogers spoke to investigators about what they know and what they're still trying to figure out.
Right now, there are a lot of moving parts to this investigation. The shooting happened shortly after 9 o'clock this morning inside that apartment here in Vassalboro. Police say the 911 call came in for a disturbance inside an apartment.
The disturbance was someone was arguing, and then it was followed up by multiple gunshots.
Minutes later, state troopers converged on the apartment building on 513 Main Street in Vassalboro.
Roughly 8 troopers arrived on scene.
Inside, they found 3 people, 1 dead, 1 injured, and 1 unharmed.
There was 1 male deceased, 1 male injured, and another party that was involved that is uninjured.
The wounded man was rushed to the hospital. No word yet on his condition. Police say all 3 knew one another.
Everyone that was involved lived at the apartment building.
Police are still trying to figure out what the argument was about and who shot who. Investigators are taking statements, and the evidence response team is here gathering evidence as police try to piece together exactly what happened here.
It's very early in the investigation, which will continue throughout the evening into the night. So we're not prepared at this point to draw any conclusions, but we're gathering information, and if anyone has any information, we would ask that they please call the state police.
Right now, no one is in custody, and there are no active searches for a suspect. Police aren't releasing any more details at this time, but they do say there is no threat or risk to the public.
And that was Brad Rogers reporting. Meanwhile, high fuel prices are not only impacting those driving this holiday weekend, but also people on the water. With boating season officially underway now, those out for fun or work are feeling the price pinch. Dan Lamparello has more on the adjustments some are making and when prices could go down.
Boating season is in full swing at Spring Point Marina.
Coming out of the pandemic, and there's a lot of energy around.
But for those filling up after the first big weekend, it's coming with a big price tag.
Fuel's basically doubled. It's from the start of last year, what we're going to have to pay now.
Matt Gardner runs a charter business and says he's had to pass on the increased costs to customers, something many haven't seemed to mind so far.
Everyone understands. Everything's more expensive. Milk's more expensive. It's affected everything.
And while those who have business on the water are feeling the price spike more than others, it's left everyone trying to curb costs as best they can. But for many boaters, it's just an added expense.
Where's your fuel gauge?
For an already expensive sport.
Definitely we'll think about our trips a little better, where we go. But we're boaters. I mean, we're used to it.
While boaters big and small say they're not going to let the price at the pump keep them off the water this summer, they still want to see the prices go down. And that's where leaders in Washington say they're still trying to come up with a plan.
We've got to control the costs in the meantime.
Senator Angus King says investment in renewable energy will help make the market less volatile in the future, but admits those projects will take time.
In the short run, we need more production to bring prices down. In the long run, we need decarbonization to permanently bring prices down.
We want it back down to $2.50, $3. So anything the feds can do, in my opinion, would be great.
And while we wait for a solution, there's no shortage of people willing to spend a little more to get out on the water.
We're not really seeing a big slowdown. People are confident. They're confident in what they want to do.
All right, it was a great day to get out on the water today with that sun coming down on us. But what can we expect in the days to come? Perhaps a cool down on the way. We'll turn things over to take a first look.
Thank you so much, Peter. Your first weather is brought to you by Kings Mountain RC. Check out our new location on South Main Street in Brewer. So really mild temperatures out there today. 80s all across the state. Even closer to the coast, everybody was in on those 80s today. So really nice and enjoyable weather out there today. But it is too good to be true because cooler air is on the way as a roller coaster of temperatures are on the way from today into tomorrow as we're back into the 60s and slightly below average. And not only that, but more rain is going to be incoming with clouds really starting to get thick out there right now, and a good amount of moisture is starting to roll on in here tonight, and then once again into tomorrow as temperatures continue to drop into the low 50s. Peter?
All right, Conrad, thanks so much. Still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, the Biker Church USA hosts a special Memorial Day Remembrance Barbecue at the Bangor waterfront. And we'll shine a spotlight on a hard-working Bangor man who's dedicated 60 years of his life to his passion. Those stories and more after this.
Nearly $2.8 million. That's how much Governor Janet Mills spent of your tax dollars to create radical school lessons. Watch this actual Maine Department of Education lesson plan. This is intended for children in kindergarten.
A transgender person is someone who the doctors made a mistake about when they were born. When a baby is born, the doctors will tell the parents what gender they think that baby is. They'll say, we think your child is a female, or we think your child is a male. But some people, when they get a little bit older, realize what the doctors said was not right.
Is this really what our kids should be learning in kindergarten? Instead of math, science, and reading? Janet Mills's radical agenda is just wrong for our kids and for Maine. Paid for by the Maine Republican Party, 9 Higgins Street, Augusta, Maine. The top 3 funders of the Maine Republican Party are Republican Governors Association, Republican National Committee, Maine Values PAC. Not paid for or authorized by any candidate.
No one told us to get up and go. That's just our rhythm. And when the heart throws that rhythm off, Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center will get it back to a healthier beat through minimally invasive procedures for heart disease with no need for open chest surgery. So you can get back to your rhythm of life.
Have you ever wished you've done that one little thing that would have changed your life? Like asked that special person out or taken that new job. And later you said, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Well, don't let that happen to you. Right now, if the Sox sweep the World Championship, you get all your furniture free. And you still get up to 60 months no interest. Don't say I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Do it. And end soon. Experience the Sox sweep at Jordan's.
Former contestants return with something to prove.
It's good, but it's not your average season.
An all-new MasterChef Back to Win, Wednesday on Fox.
Anyone looking at me and talking to me would never know that I had it.
It's a condition that can affect anyone at any age or stage of life.
Yeah, you feel out of control. It's time is the only thing that really makes the difference.
We'll dig deeper into the battle with Bell's palsy, Tuesday on Fox 22 News at 10.
Welcome back. Retired military members marched to the steps of City Hall in Ellsworth during today's Memorial Day parade. Our A.J. Douglas joined Ellsworth residents during a time of remembrance.
You know, as combat vets, we know the price of freedom. We have to remember they're the ones that gave us our freedom.
Hundreds showed up to take part in the Ellsworth Memorial Day parade to honor veterans who had fallen. District 4 Commander of Maine Veterans of Foreign Wars, Daniel Sullivan, says war has always been a part of our country. Sullivan says he will forever admire the bravery of our United States troops.
It's continual, but one thing that always is, our fellow citizens stood up to it and they answered the call to duty.
Some parents are attempting to teach their children about the true meaning behind Memorial Day through participation in Monday's events, while other parents with smaller children came out to enjoy the festivities.
My daughter did ask on the way here what exactly Memorial Day was, so I explained to her that we're, honoring everyone that has been in a war or has, come back from the war or hasn't made it back from the war.
Teach the kids appreciation for those who've served for our country.
Oh, my daughter just wanted to come to see the parade.
After the parade, there was a special ceremony held embracing a powerful message. Never forget.
All of our veterans are very important to us.
Well, there was certainly a common purpose, and that's unifying, and it is an opportunity, a rare opportunity that comes once a year.
One of the few retired colonels in attendance says days like this give people the chance to make peace with war.
It's a way to settle your own feelings about war and the people who make the ultimate sacrifice.
In Ellsworth, A.J. Douglas, ABC 7, Fox 22.
Hundreds came out for Bangor's annual Memorial Day parade this morning. Our Stephanie Wittenbach has that story.
The Bangor Memorial Day Parade is back after a long hiatus due to COVID-19. Folks brought their red, white, and blue and stood as military personnel, airmen, and junior reserve officers marched along Main Street in downtown Bangor. One Herman resident brought her family out to the parade for the very first time.
They know that it's to remember everyone that gave their all, either sacrificing themselves or being able to come home and let us live the life that we have.
One parade goer had never been to Bangor's parade and had a few words to share this Memorial Day.
I've served for 32 years, so it's a privilege to come out and remember, support all of the first responders and really celebrate the lives of the military, the people that have given their final and all for the country.
Page said right now this country needs to come together.
We've got to remember that we've got to unite around common interests and common good, and just support things like this is a wonderful blessing to be able to be part of.
Kids waved their flags and Jeeps drove through the street as folks clapped. Veterans from the Korean War and Vietnam War marched. As Page said, military honor showed throughout the city. Bangor's Naval Submarine Base came out, which Page said isn't often seen. At the end of the parade, Bangor High School's junior reserve officers made a 21 rifle salute at Talbot Park. In Bangor, Stephanie Wittenbach reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Churchgoers and those in recovery remembered those who lost their lives in battle along Bangor's waterfront today. Pastor Bill Ray of Biker Church USA said The get-together was about 6 months in the making. Last year, he said they weren't able to have it. He says there's a special place in his heart for those in recovery, and Monday's event serves as a way for all to show their thanks.
It's a holiday. It's easy to bring people, and we're celebrating our forefathers that gave us the ability to do what we're doing now.
Ray says volunteers helped out by cooking burgers and hot dogs. Those in recovery were able to enjoy the music and remember the fallen on this Memorial Day. Switching gears now, Jerome Hogan is a very hard-working man. For 60 years, he's worked for Greyhound, and although the Bangor man hasn't received a paycheck in more than a decade, it hasn't stopped him from volunteering with his former employer. Our Jody Hersey introduces us.
I learned a lot from this bus line.
Jerome Hogan's love for buses started when he was just 17 years old. That's when this Holton native moved from Aroostook County to the big city of Bangor to work for Greyhound.
All I did is load the buses with bags, and I cleaned them out for the drivers. And I was going to go driving, but then I decided, no, I'm going to stick right where I am.
Hogan spent 50 years working for the company when it was operating out of the Bangor bus terminal. He spent another 8 years volunteering with the outfit when it was relocated to Dysarts. And for the past 2 years, he's been voluntarily loading bags here at the Park and Ride on the Audlin Road.
It gets me out of the house and come over here and get this bus out. I mean, you know, it's been tremendous for me.
Driver Eddie Lee says Hogan is one of a kind.
Jerome, he kept everything running smooth, you know. He's been here a long time, but he's just overall good guy and just take care of everybody.
Greyhound plans to recognize Hogan for his 60 years of contributions to the company in June. That's when he'll board the bus instead of loading the bus and make his way to Boston for a small celebration. In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Well, what a great story there, and love to see them giving some recognition where it's due as well. All right, well, coming up next on the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22, after 2 years of pandemic pauses on mass holiday travel, millions are making up for it this Memorial Day. And Ukraine's leader urges the West for more and better weapons as Russia steps up its onslaught on the country's east. Love those stories and more as the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22 continues.
Q106.5 is Maine's #1 for new country. The biggest country stars with their biggest songs and more fun with Scott Miller and Cindy Campbell on the Q106.5 Morning Show. Download the Q106.5 app and listen at work. Q106.5.
At Bouchard Cleaning, rebuilding and restoring means more than just another job. To us, it's about bringing back cherished memories, restoring unforgettable moments in time, and giving hope when all was thought to be lost. For over 35 years, our mission has remained the same. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest. Statewide commercial and residential services. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration.
Think easier, like, come on, what can I do to help you, hon?
Yes! Yes! Get out!
Andy!
Get out of my room! Get out!
You're not lying. I didn't say anything. Yes, you did. What did you say? I didn't.
We've got a 100-year-old company here, and it's because of the service, the quality, and the experience. It gets done right.
I think we've been doing it for so long. The only thing that we do, that when we walk into a room, we automatically know how to treat that window. We can take any product that the customer's looking for and make it work in just about any situation that they present us with. So
There's no reason to be overwhelmed.
No.
We can help you through it.
We're not going anywhere. We've been around for 100 years.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Bar Harbor, is sponsored by Carol Harper and Associates Incorporated, your one source for your Medicare and long-term care insurance planning. Disconnected Tattoo and Art Company, a family-friendly tattoo and art shop in Ellsworth with well-rounded artists and a fun atmosphere. And Graffiti Donuts, a donut-centric dessert location offering fresh-made donuts, donut hole nachos, donut sundaes, milkshakes, and much more. Open 7 days a week.
Q106.5 is Maine's #1 for new country. The biggest country stars with their biggest songs. And more fun with Scott Miller and Cindy Campbell on the Q106.5 Morning Show. Download the Q106.5 app and listen at work. Q106.5.
If you've been injured in an accident, tell them you mean business.
President Biden says he is not going to send long-range rocket systems to Ukraine. This comes as Ukraine's leader urges the West for more and better weapons, while Russia steps up its onslaught in the country's east. Fox's Trey Yingst has more from Kyiv.
Russian troops fire artillery in the central Donbas region. They're advancing on strategic cities across eastern Ukraine.
The active phase of the Great Liberation War continues. Russian occupation forces are not stopping offensive operations in the Eastern Operational Zone to establish complete control over Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts.
Russian troops have now entered the city of Severodonetsk, where 90% of the buildings are destroyed, according to the Ukrainians. Thousands of civilians do remain trapped amid the fighting, sheltering underground. Yesterday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky made his first visit to the east since the war began. Touring the front lines near the city of Kharkiv, Zelensky met with soldiers, pledging to liberate all occupied territory.
1/3 of the Kharkiv region is still under occupation. We will definitely vacate the whole territory, and everyone should work for this result in positions at both the local and state levels.
To push Russian troops out of eastern Ukraine, Zelensky's troops say they'll need more additional artillery support and advanced weapons. The U.S. had been expected to send MLRS long-range rocket launchers to Ukraine, but could walk back that reported commitment.
We're not going to send to Ukraine rocket systems that can strike into Russia.
Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba also stressed the need for more weapons today, alongside the French Foreign Minister, who was visiting Kyiv.
To win the battle for the Donbass, we need to significantly strengthen our artillery potential.
New tonight, EU leaders have agreed on a partial embargo of Russian oil. That, according to diplomats, the move is the most significant action against Russian oil exports since the war began. In Kyiv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Meanwhile, this is a Memorial Day unlike any other in Uvalde, Texas. That community mourning the victims of last week's school shooting, and the funerals begin this week. All of this, along with growing outrage over what appears to be a failed response to the mass shooting by local law enforcement. Fox's Jeff Paul has the latest from Uvalde.
In a city of 16,000 people, losing just one is hard enough.
It's devastating because they were almost done with school and they were barely starting their life.
But the loss of 19 young minds and 2 women who helped shape them creates a gap that'll never be filled.
It's painful because from day one, we make flowers for them when the child is born. We make flowers for their first birthday. It hurts right now, everybody.
On this Memorial Day, Texas Governor Greg Abbott wants the focus to also be on Uvalde.
As Texans, we must come together and lift up Uvalde and support them in every way that we possibly can.
It's a call to action that greeted Governor Abbott while he joined President Joe Biden during his visit on Sunday. President Biden vowing, I will, to a community devastated and desperate for change.
I grew up here in Uvalde, and it breaks my heart. I have no words.
Silence from Uvalde's police department, whose response that day, along with the school district police and other responding law enforcement, will get a formal critical incident review by the Department of Justice. One of the most glaring revelations, nearly 20 officers stood in the hallway of the school for more than 45 minutes before getting inside to kill the shooter. Democratic Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez, like many in Uvalde, was stunned to learn children were inside the room with the shooter, some in the school even calling 911, begging for police to help.
One round for this little girl, likely bled out. Had we had law enforcement going in there earlier, this little girl might have lived.
It's already hard enough for students at Robb Elementary School to fathom going back to school, let alone into the exact buildings where the shooting unraveled. So lawmakers are already talking about knocking down the school and building a new one. In Uvalde, Texas, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
And that school shooting marking an especially solemn Memorial Day across this country, really. President Biden continuing to push for new gun control measures, but denying that he has the authority to take unilateral action, which is not sitting well with some of his usual supporters. Fox's Jackie Heinrich has the latest from the White House.
President Biden remembering Americans who made the ultimate sacrifice in what he called a sacred Memorial Day ritual.
We must never betray the lives laid down to make our nation a beacon to the world, a citadel of liberty and justice for everyone.
Biden marked the importance of defending democracy amid Russia's war in Ukraine. Also mourned alongside Gold Star families on the anniversary of his son Beau's death, a veteran who died of brain cancer. Biden addressed the families of the 2,461 service members who lost their lives in Afghanistan, but made no specific mention of the 13 who died under his watch during the withdrawal, the only armed forces to die by enemy attack since he took office. The solemn ceremonies coming just one day after Biden privately grieved with a shattered community in Uvalde, Texas, telling reporters upon his return there's some hope for a bipartisan gun control agreement in Congress, encouraged by a push from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell to Texas Senator John Cornyn to find common ground with Democrats.
God is so bad that everybody's getting more rational about it. But I think there's a realization on the part of rational Republicans, and I consider McConnell a rational Republican, I mean Cornyn is as well. You can't do this.
The administration increasingly defensive over pressure for Biden to act unilaterally, refusing some network requests for officials to appear on Sunday shows, saying it's on Congress to act. Biden said today his executive powers have limits.
But I can't outlaw a weapon. I can't, change the background check. I can't do that.
Some congressional Democrats have hope for a budding agreement.
There are more Republicans interested in talking about finding a path forward this time than I have ever seen since Sandy Hook.
Not all share the optimism.
As far as a federal level, I'm not that hopeful.
Senator John Cornyn, the lead GOP negotiator on the gun safety reform effort, told reporters today in Texas a group of bipartisan senators is meeting tomorrow over Zoom to see if they can reach a framework on how to move forward. But he offered no details on what they'd be discussing, like red flag laws or otherwise. At the White House, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
Following 2 years of pandemic pauses on mass holiday travel, millions of Americans are making up for it this Memorial Day. This coming despite a COVID resurgence in some areas and record high gas prices nationwide. Fox's Christina Coleman has more from L.A.
After 2 years of COVID uncertainty, amusement parks and beaches nationwide are open without restrictions, and folks are taking advantage to kick off the unofficial start of summer. AAA estimates that 34.9 million people will have traveled by car this holiday weekend. That's up 4.6% compared to last year, despite record high gas prices. The national average for a gallon of gas hit $4.61 on Monday, the highest it's ever been. It was $3.04 a year ago. Airfare is also more expensive. A round-trip domestic ticket is averaging about $400, according to travel research site Hopper. That's up 24% compared to this time in 2019. The price hikes are thanks to higher jet fuel costs, double the regular summertime rates, and more post-pandemic demand. Travelers say the increased costs are frustrating, but something they're willing to bear to take long-awaited family trips.
Whatever the gas price is, unfortunately we have to pay for it, but we want to go visit our family, so this is the cost that's involved.
More than 6,000 flights were canceled this weekend, with thousands more delayed. Delta, which canceled the most flights among U.S. carriers, said bad weather in the Northeast on Friday caused a ripple effect that threw off the flight schedule all weekend long. Experts are advising travelers to pack their patience this summer.
Unfortunately, travel disruptions are still happening because of just this resurgence in travel. The travel industry is working as hard as it can to make things smooth for passengers and for travelers. We just remind everybody to have patience when you're at the airport.
The U.S. Travel Association says 6 in 10 Americans still plan on taking at least one summer trip, despite rising costs. Reporting in Los Angeles, Christina Coleman, Fox News.
All right, and still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, the Coal Land Transportation Museum in Bangor honored fallen U.S. military veterans by hosting a wreath-laying ceremony. And in sports, John Baptist boys tennis completed the perfect regular season, but they're out for a whole lot more than that. We'll be right back.
It's the final night of auditions and a marvel of unbelievably talented dancers.
Do you know how talented you are?
Thank you so much. So You Think You Can Dance, all new Wednesday on Fox.
Looking like I'm the next big thing. I'm about to cause a scene.
It's your journey. Own it in the Hyundai Santa Fe. Lease an all-wheel drive 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe for $279 a month with new inventory arriving daily. See your Bangor Hyundai dealer.
Hey, Red Sox fans, you've got to play You Pick 'em Red Sox at foxbangor.com. Local weekly winners receive prizes. Register now at foxbangor.com. You Pick 'em Red Sox is sponsored by Twin City Tint in Brewer, Comfort Shoes and More in Newport, Saliba's Rug Cleaners in Bangor, and Twin City Tile in Brewer.
Make the call to unclog. Nichols Plumbing has been serving Bangor and beyond for over 45 years. Our community has placed their trust in us for plumbing, well and drain maintenance, camp weatherization, sewer and septic line repair and replacement. And we also offer 24/7 emergency services. Our plumbers are fully licensed and ready to solve any plumbing problem. 989-1533. Make the call to unclog.
Hey, it's Eric from Green Bear 420. We've been in business since 2010 and going strong, so stop in and check us out. We specialize in glass art by over 100 local artists and even have live glass blowing. Plus, we carry incense, novelties, t-shirts, and hard-to-find items. We have tons of local products for the tie-dye wearing person in your circle of friends. Come see us at 531 Moosehead Trail in Newport. And remember, Green Bear 420, it's not just a store, it's a lifestyle.
I cried when a mammogram showed a lump that turned out to be breast cancer. I almost skipped that mammogram because of my workload, but it may have saved my life.
If you're a woman between the ages of 50 and 74, talk to your provider about being screened for breast cancer.
After treatment and surgery last fall, I'm so relieved to be cancer-free now.
Watch for changes in your breasts and learn more about breast cancer screening at screenmaine.org.
It's your journey. Own it in the Hyundai Santa Fe. Lease an all-wheel drive 2022 Hyundai Santa Fe for $279 a month with new inventory arriving daily. See your Bangor Hyundai dealer.
DVD, digital, and music releases this week include a crime thriller, a classic comedy, and a Grammy-winning rap star. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with the list of new releases.
I lost my brothers to gang violence.
I can't do this again.
Topping the list of what's new in home entertainment, the crime thriller The Devil You Know, starring Omar Epps, Michael Ealy, and Theo Rossi. It centers on two brothers whose bond is tested after a brutal crime.
Name's Floyd. Dr. I told me that you were a writer.
Oscar Isaac, Andy Garcia, Emery Cohen, and Megan Fox star in the comedy Big Gold Brick, about a down-on-his-luck writer hired to pen the biography of the man who hit him with his car.
I'm going to be a priest.
Available on digital only, the faith-based film Father Stu, starring Mark Wahlberg. It tells the true story of Father Stuart Long, a troubled amateur boxer who turns his life around when he becomes a priest.
All right, now, let's do some good!
The four-time Oscar-nominated crime drama The Untouchables gets a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray release in honor of its 35th anniversary. The film stars Robert De Niro and Kevin Costner.
I give you the Kinky Boot Factory!
The 2005 comedy Kinky Boots, starring Chiwetel Ejiofor, is available on Blu-ray for the first time.
I've got the boys together.
From the small screen, The Boys collection includes Season 1 and 2 of the Amazon Prime Video comic series, and the 5th season of Netflix's fantasy drama Lucifer.
Don't call me baby.
For music fans, rap superstar Post Malone's 4th album, 12 Carat Toothache, includes collaborations with The Weeknd and Roddy Ricch. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Well, a speed-burning aerial action flick scores huge over Memorial Day weekend. Top Gun Maverick going into afterburners mode over the weekend, taking in about $151 million for the first 2 days of the holiday period. The giant cash haul is the second biggest Memorial Day opening take ever after Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End back in 2007. That took in $153 million. The Paramount sequel to the 1986 Top Gun faced multiple delays getting to theaters due to the coronavirus. Top Gun Maverick is also Tom Cruise's highest domestic earner in his 40-year career. Meanwhile, Mountain Dew goes back to its roots with a new outdoor sporting approach. The company is adding an interesting twist to the summer. From June 4th to June 12th, Mountain Dew is taking charge of the Adventure Center in Tennessee's Dome Mountain, and they'll provide free passes for visitors. The soda company will host activities like scavenger hunts, bird tours, archery tournaments, and even an outpost ranger. To find out more information, you can go to mtndooutpost.com. Sounds like a really cool time there. All right, well, having dogs around your kids when they're young not only helps their gut feelings about animals, it can actually help your kids' real gut, too. Some researchers from a university in Toronto say exposure to dogs when kids are between 5 and 15 is beneficial for their gut health. The team studied the data of almost 4,300 families with members who have Crohn's disease. They found having the canines near them gave them a better microbial balance in the gut region, or microbial, I should say, and helps lower their chances of Crohn's disease, which affects nearly 500,000 people across the country. Well, guide dogs in training face one of their next challenges, the airport. Fox's Tony Almanza meets up with some puppy raisers and guide dog puppies at an airport in California to learn more.
Golden Retrievers and Labrador puppies were trained to serve as guide dogs in the San Luis Obispo airport.
So Guide Dogs for the Blind is all, puppy raisers are all about taking the dogs to new places, getting them exposed to different sights and sounds. A lot of time the first outing a dog goes on with its new handler once it's graduated is to the airport to fly home. And so some puppies have never been to the airport before, and there's a lot of new sights and sounds fitting on the plane in that small area. So we want to get them comfortable with all of this so that when they do graduate and go on to fly on a plane with their handler, they have been to it before, they're not nervous, they know what's up, and they can do their job effectively.
Puppy raisers put a lot of work in training their puppy.
So we get them around 8 weeks, so 2 months old. They stay with puppy raisers, which is what I am and the other people here are. We raise and socialize and house break them and whatnot, and we do that until they're about 15 to 18 months of age. At that point, they'll get recalled to the campus for Guide Dogs for the Blind.
Once the puppy is fully trained, they can be a big help to airlines.
It's an amazing aspect where a dog can basically help somebody, that wouldn't normally be able to travel. I mean, we are more than, we'll come out and help the guests as we can. Guide dogs, we don't need that extra person to help them out, They're basically helping us out a ton by getting the passengers to where they need to go.
That adorable face there. All right, well, Conrad Sapinski will be right in next with our full 5-day forecast. You don't want to miss it. Stick around.
We had some really warm temperatures out there today, 80s all across the state, but a lot cooler temperatures are on the way. I'll talk more about that later on.
Dude, can you believe we're graduating? And they helped us find a great job. Soon we'll be living the dream.
Exactly. I'm incredibly grateful for Maine Job Corps. If it wasn't for them, I'd be working an entry-level job and barely making it.
Let Team Maine Job Corps help find the career that's right for you. Call 561-8516.
Roots to Remedies in downtown Millinocket wants you to know that they take the health of you and your family seriously. That is why they're offering curbside pickup and free deliveries. They have award-winning edibles handcrafted on-site. They specialize in non-GMO, vegan, and gluten-free products for all your dietary restrictions. New to Roots to Remedies is the selection of vitamins, essential oils, and a full line of herbs to enhance your well-being. Get your CBDs at Roots to Remedies, where it's always 420 and caring comes first.
I heard about you. You're that smart kid.
Young Sheldon, boy genius, an origin story.
Yes, that's me.
A small town boy.
Young man. Yes, you.
With supersonic hearing. Visionary vision.
Cheeky little Miwan, you know you don't belong there.
And a heightened sense of smell.
Ew. Put your shoes back on.
Young Sheldon 5 times a week.
Weekdays at 6 on Fox 22.
You can't smell this.
Yes, I can.
America's best bakers race to gather the clues and bake the mystery dessert.
But did you make the right dessert?
Crime Scene Kitchen, Tuesdays at 8 on Fox.
Happy Monday and welcome back, everyone. Your main weather is brought to you by Varney Chevrolet. If you are looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle near Bangor or Augusta, then stop by Varney Chevrolet in Pittsfield, just blocks from Interstate 95. Come see what Varney Value is all about. And what is all about is those really warm temperatures. Finally, some 80s made it all across the Midwest and the Northeast, and we did not miss out on any of those 80s because a good amount of us were in the low 80s out there today. But we did have a good amount of cloud cover, but still nice and enjoyable weather out there, even closer to the coast. But not the same story tomorrow, as we'll be way cooler out there and then back into the 50s and some 60s out there. So a lot cooler temperatures are on the way with a good amount of rainfall as well. But something else to talk about is a little bit of that wind out there. We have around 5 to 10 mile per hour wind here in Bar Harbor. Same story in Bangor, and a little bit more breezier, especially closer to the coast. And that's why we have some small craft advisories that are in effect until tomorrow morning because those winds will continue to be on the gusty end. If you're out and about on the waters, be careful out there. And more rain is incoming as well. So clouds are really starting to get thicker out there today. And then look at all of this rain that's starting to move on in. Doesn't look like much right now, but all of this will continue to work its way south and then make it into our areas. Our futurecast does show that rain and even a couple thunderstorms out there incoming tonight. And then once again for tomorrow, but then we really start to clear out by Wednesday before some more chances of rain are back. So this satellite radar does show some heavier batches of rain just north of us. Places might come in close to even an inch of rain, but here in Bangor, we're looking at approximately 1/4 of an inch of rain. So not a big rainmaker at that, but still something to worry about for your morning commute tomorrow. With temperatures that will be dropping out there tonight, we'll be barely making it into the 50s out there with some scattered rain and thunderstorms continuing out there. And then tomorrow, we warm up slightly, but still below average, as we'll be in the upper 60s out there with some morning rain and then just some sunshine that we'll be trying to peek in out there later on in the afternoon. And our 5-day outlook does show cooler temperatures sticking around the rest of the week and then even into the weekend with more chances of rain. Peter?
All right, so a cooler week ahead, but we'll take that. Summer will provide lots of warm days for us ahead. All right, sports is coming up next with Dave Peck. Stay with us.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Situated in Jonesboro on the coast of Maine lies Barren View Golf Course, a true links course that's a treat for golfers of all skill levels. We feature a driving range, putting green, practice sand trap, pro shop, and snack bar. Open 7 days a week. Please call ahead for a tee time.
We can go into a room and have absolutely nothing in there, nothing on the windows, no color, no character, no tone to a room.
That's, I think, where we're strongest, is being able to help someone envision what's going to go in that window.
And we leave, it's totally transformed into something that the customer wants it to be. We've often been told we make a room look better just by leaving it.
Situated in Jonesboro on the coast of Maine lies Barren View Golf Course, a true links course that's a treat for golfers of all skill levels. We feature a driving range, putting green, practice sand trap, pro shop, and snack bar. Open 7 days a week. Please call ahead for a tee time.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
Put a little more cash in your bag. Save money with half-off deals at foxbangor.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, some said they were too young. Others said it was just time to break up the band. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, they can't play together. But after all the talk, the Boston Celtics are back in the NBA Finals for the first time since 2010. In the biggest of moments, the Celtics captured the Eastern Conference crown, downing the Heat in Game 7 in Miami. Now, this team has battled adversity all playoffs long and really all season long, too. But it's the way they've handled those challenges that has been the difference.
Instead of carrying it like baggage, we wore it like, a badge of experience, to help us get prepared for the next game. And, we war tested. Like, we've been through a lot. We've learned a lot over the years. And now the stage is at its brightest. We got to apply everything that we learned into these moments.
Now, after the game, Jason Tatum answered a number of questions about how the team was able to turn things around, how they were able to bounce back from a below 500 team, at one point losing to the Knicks in what he described the rock bottom of the season back in early January, but now they finally have gotten over the hump.
It was tough, truly. There were definitely some tough moments throughout the season. You start to question yourself, are you good enough to be that guy? But I think you just trusting yourself, trusting the work that you put in to get to this point and continue to work. It can't rain forever.
No, it cannot, and he showed that trust more than anyone, really, because he was named the first ever Larry Bird winner for the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals, leading the team to the finals once again. So Game 1 from San Francisco is scheduled for 9 p.m. on Thursday on ABC 7. Meanwhile, on the local level, high school tennis teams are opening up their own playoffs this week, the state tournament upcoming, and the John Babs boys are in prime position for their own championship run. Now, we checked in with the Crusaders during the preseason, and even back then, they knew they had something special. Fast forward to now, the Babs boys just completed the perfect regular season, 12-0, and the top spot in Class B North.
I had high expectations. I think the team, veterans knew the kind of team that we could be, but I tempered that a lot with the kids and made sure that they stayed grounded.
The kids are awesome. All my teammates, they're really amazing. I think that has to be the best part. And the coaches, Coach Heppel, Coach Hoyt, they're pretty awesome.
Now, you ask Hoyt, and he'll say one of the biggest reasons for their success has been the depth, a lot of talent deep in that roster. That's allowed him and his staff to focus more on the nuances of the game, playing a little chess instead of checkers, as we often like to say with Bill Belichick and the Patriots. But for Hoyt, you could also say that's where he hopes the parallel will end.
We're going into the playoffs, and we have to reset. That's the undefeated season is great, and it's a feather in your cap, if you will, but it's not what we're here to do. We're here to make an attempt to play the next match and win if we can, and then hopefully with a little luck we get to make it to the finals and maybe have a chance at undefeated MDI. I hear they're excellent.
Well, he's not wrong there. MDI is also 12-0 on the season, potentially setting the stage for a heavyweight regional final down the road. We'll see what happens there. We're also getting down to it for baseball as well, as the playoffs are a couple weeks away now. So let's go to Herman for a Class B matchup here. Hawks hosting the Coyotes of Old Town in this one. First inning is where we will start. Matt Phillips on the bump and gets the K to end the inning. Bottom one now, Phillips helping himself out here at the plate. Slow grounder trickles up the middle into center. 2-run score to make it a 2-0 Hawks lead. But then came the Coyotes. First, Preston Vose with a liner into right center. That's a 2 RBI double that ties things up at 2 apiece. And then after a Gabe Gifford double, Noah Thibodeau does a job here. Sacrifice fly, puts the Coyotes in front 3-2. And then in the third, Connor McCannell at the plate would add another on a solo shot as Old Town comes back to win it 4-3 was the final. And we'll take a look at some of the other scores in the area just up the hill. How about Herman softball coming back from 8 runs down to beat the Coyotes on home turf? So they split that sort of softball, baseball doubleheader. Elsewhere in the softball world, Bangor Christian Downs shed 14-4 to pick up their first win in 4 years. That according to Eastern Maine Sports. And back on the baseball diamond, Lee just gets the better of Stearns, and Central is able to blank Dexter 11-0. Alrighty, that's sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Shop Jordan's Furniture now, and it could all be free. Visit Jordans.com.
Q106.5 is Maine's #1 for new country. The biggest country stars with their biggest songs. And more fun with Scott Miller and Cindy Campbell on the Q106.5 Morning Show. Download the Q106.5 app and listen at work. Q106.5.
Nearly $2.8 million. That's how much Governor Janet Mills spent of your tax dollars to create radical school lessons. Watch this actual Maine Department of Education lesson plan. This is intended for children in kindergarten.
A transgender person is someone who the doctors made a mistake about when they were born. When a baby is born, the doctors will tell the parents what gender they think that baby is. They'll say, we think your child is a female, or we think your child is a male. But some people, when they get a little bit older, realize what the doctors said was not right.
Is this really what our kids should be learning in kindergarten? Instead of math, science, and reading? Janet Mills's radical agenda is just wrong for our kids and for Maine. Paid for by the Maine Republican Party, 9 Higgins Street, Augusta, Maine. The top 3 funders of the Maine Republican Party are Republican Governors Association, Republican National Committee, Maine Values PAC. Not paid for or authorized by any candidate.
Many of the area golfers keep returning to the Pine Hill Golf Course, offering one of the area's best greens, well-manicured practice greens, and spacious driving range to improve your game. Bring your family to Pine Hill Golf Course to play a challenging yet relaxing round of golf at an affordable rate. Our clubhouse is a great place to eat, drink, and learn. Don't miss your shot to play an affordable round of golf at Pine Hill Golf Course, open to the public and members. Pine Hill Golf Course, just off the Brewer Lake Road.
On the Road, broadcasting the news at 6, live from Bar Harbor, is sponsored by Carol Harper and Associates Incorporated, your one source for your Medicare and long-term care insurance planning. Disconnected Tattoo and Art Company, a family-friendly tattoo and art shop in Ellsworth with well-rounded artists and a fun atmosphere. And Graffiti Donuts, a donut-centric dessert location offering fresh-made donuts, donut hole nachos, donut sundaes, milkshakes, and much more. Open 7 days a week.
Q106.5 is Maine's #1 for new country. The biggest country stars with their biggest songs. And more fun with Scott Miller and Cindy Campbell on the Q106.5 Morning Show. Download the Q106.5 app and listen at work. Q106.5.
This year, there's a whole new season to love what we love.
Burnouts, winning, racing.
I am NASCAR.
Continuing with our Memorial Day coverage, the Cole Land Transportation Museum in Bangor honored fallen U.S. military veterans this Memorial Day by hosting a wreath-laying ceremony. Our Sierra Jordan was there and shares the story.
Please join me in a moment of silence for our fallen brothers and sisters.
Hundreds of fallen U.S. military veterans were honored at the Cole Land Transportation Museum's Memorial Day service for the first time in 2 years.
This is a great honor because our flag, our freedoms, all exist because of what others have given them the most. You know, they gave their lives, they gave their service.
Families and veterans gathered at the museum for the wreath-laying ceremony shortly after the Bangor Memorial Day Parade. 4 wreaths were laid in remembrance for our veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice.
One for Vietnam, one for Korea. We have one for World War II and one for Purple Heart. And there are little brackets that we have at each memorial. We have certain veterans for each group that are going to lay the wreaths on those brackets.
Since 1997, the Coal Land Transportation Museum has distributed over 11,000 Maine maple walking sticks to war veterans. The museum's founder, Galen Cole, created the walking stick to honor Maine veterans. As of this weekend, Munson says a half a dozen walking sticks were given out.
Cole, our founder, was a World War II vet and a Purple Heart recipient, and memorializing those who had fallen, him losing his best friend, Charlie Flanagan, who resembles the gentleman in the Jeep behind me. Memorial Day was a special event for him.
A retired Navy veteran who served from 1960 to 1966 attended the ceremony to honor his late brother.
He was in the Sicily when he died. He went through 3 major battles.
The ceremony later ended with a performance by the Bangor High School Band.
Especially since we're running out of World War II vets and quickly running out of Korean War vets. It's nice to meet them in person and shake their hand and tell them that thank you for their service.
In Bangor, I'm Sierra Jordan reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Well, the United States Air Force Band from Washington, D.C. produced a video honoring our nation's fallen heroes this Memorial Day. As we say goodnight to you this evening, we'll leave you with a performance from them of a song called Going Home.
For more local news coverage, switch over to
Google Pixel 6. What if your phone didn't just take epic photos? What if it fixed them too? The amazing Magic Eraser on Google Pixel 6.
Who do you think you are? Taking up space. Making a scene. Indulging yourself? Oh, right. You're you. TJ Maxx, where you can afford to be you to the max.
You're deemed the most controversial